You're watching News 25. Local coverage you can count on. News 25 is brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law, voted Best of Las Vegas. Give them a call, 702-727-9900.
Thank you for joining us here on News 25 and Ace Country Radio and streaming at KPVM.TV and now on Roku devices on this Monday, March 17th, 2025, St. Patrick's Day. Good evening. I'm Chris Palermo, and here is what's happening. Over the weekend, Metro homicide detectives determined that a man murdered a woman in Las Vegas and then later killed himself. And here is what News 25 knows so far.
On March 15th, 2025, at approximately 5:20 p.m., Las Vegas Metro Police Department dispatch received a report of a shooting in the 700 block of North Bruce Street. Arriving officers located a male and a female suffering from apparent gunshot wounds inside of the residence. Las Vegas Metro Homicide Lieutenant Robert Price provided the public with details on the incident.
The details of that call are, at approximately 5:20 in the evening, LVMPD dispatch received a 911 call from a caller stating a female had been shot inside of a residence. Officers from Downtown Area Command immediately responded, and upon their arrival, as they were making their approach towards the residence, they heard another single gunshot. Those officers immediately entered the residence, and upon their entry, they observed a male and female both suffering from gunshot wounds. Those officers immediately rendered aid until medical arrived. Upon medical's arrival, they pronounced the male half deceased on scene, and the female half was transported to UMC Hospital, where she unfortunately was pronounced deceased. The preliminary details of the call so far are that the male and female just ended a long-term relationship. The female half brought the children here to the residence for visitations. During those visitations, sometime the male half began to argue with the female half. He produced a firearm and unfortunately shot the female. Upon officers' arrival, he turned the gun on himself and took his own life.
Anyone with information about the incident is urged to contact the LVMPD Homicide Section by calling 702-828-3521 or to remain anonymous, contact Crime Stoppers at 702-385-5555.
More news now. In a recent move, Nye County has officially reaffirmed its stance as a non-sanctuary county, further solidifying its position on immigration enforcement. News 25 reporter Rory Rossell has this story.
Nye County has officially reaffirmed its position as a non-sanctuary county in the passage of Resolution number 2025-08. The action aims to clarify the county's stance on immigration, following a growing confusion within the community. At the February 19th meeting, the Nye County Commissioners voted 3-2 to approve a funding agreement with the Nye Communities Coalition for the Fast Most program. The program, which has been a reoccurring initiative in the county, focuses on helping inmates reintegrate into society and offers pre-arrest diversion services. The program has typically passed without much of a debate in the previous years, though this time it sparks concerns over the involvement of undocumented immigrants, particularly in the pre-arrest diversion portion of the program.
I made it perfectly clear to Mr. Mills and Ms. Smith that I would not be in favor of, and I would not allow what he's referring to as a co-responder model. We will not have social workers in our cars responding to calls for service, and we will not be having social workers in their own cars responding to our calls for service. We've got to focus on the specific instead of dealing with another person behind us saying, oh, well, I can help him. No, there's a crime committed. When there's a crime committed, it is not, and I made it clear to both of them the other day. When we are going to take someone to jail, we are going to take them to jail, and then they will get involved if there is something that they can do to help.
Despite these assurances, commissioners had concerns that Nye County would be seen as providing a sanctuary for these undocumented immigrants. To address this, at the March 4th meeting, the commission passed a non-sanctuary resolution, making it clear that Nye County does not provide sanctuary to undocumented individuals.
When you're arrested, you're reported to ICE. And the issue is, if you're not arrested, we don't know. And when there was questioning here last month, and I have a transcript right here, it was me questioning the program, Fast Most program. Under your pre-arrest diversion, would you report them to ICE? Sir, would you report them to ICE? And the answer was, I would have to talk to my supervisor to see what the appropriate course of action would be in that scenario, as that has not yet occurred. So this program's been going on for a few years. It has not yet occurred that they're reporting to ICE. So we've had two things going on in the last couple of years. One, we've been a non-sanctuary county, and two, we have not reported to ICE.
All right, we're good on that.
And Chair?
Yes.
Chair, I would be remiss if I didn't say that I agree with Commissioner Bain.
Yes, absolutely, so do I. Thank you on that.
Chair, I'll make a motion.
Okay, please.
Motion to adopt resolution number 2025-08, a resolution reaffirming support of Nye County's non-sanctuary status.
Jabor seconds.
We got a motion and 2 seconds. If there's nothing else, I'm going to call for the vote.
Aye.
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 Jabor's aye.
Moskovich, aye. That carries 5-0.
Checking some other stories now, the U.S. Air Force Warfare Center recently completed Bamboo Eagle 25-1, the first of its kind this year. Now joining us is U.S. Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Joseph Manklitz, detailing his experiences during the exercises performed at Nellis.
Bamboo Eagle provides us an opportunity to realign with this warrior ethos mentality, because we're able to bring our unit and all the supporting cast on the road in a combat realistic environment. So it's one thing to train at home, and we train hard at home, but to bring a subset of our base on the road here, work together to generate air power along the rest of the combat air force and our coalition partners, in this case from the UK and Australia, that really tests us.
Bamboo Eagle 25-1 involved over 10,000 personnel from multiple Air Force major commands, the Joint Force, and Allied Air Forces.
I think based on the changing overall environment, I go back to this warrior ethos is the idea of always being ready whenever the call comes. We have to be prepared. We have to have high-end readiness whenever your mission set is required. When that time comes, and if you let things relax in terms of ethos and your readiness, then you're going to let people down. The Joint Force is counting on us. We got to be ready, and we will be.
This series of coordinated multi-domain operations featured more than 175 aircraft.
During deterrence, it's all about capability and willpower. Our part in that is providing the capability. And Bamboo Eagle and exercises like this provide us the opportunity to increase our lethality, which supports that capability. These are challenging high-end environments for us to operate in, which tests our ability to be flexible and more interoperable across the Joint Force. And really that supports our ability to be more lethal, be more ready, be more effective, which supports this capability and deterrence.
The complex missions were designed to simulate the ever-evolving challenges of modern warfare.
I think personally, my definition of warrior ethos is that tactical mindset, that ability to be always ready and accepting of your nation's call. That's an important part specifically of our unit. The 393rd Bomb Squadron is the Air Force's active duty, only active duty combat squadron of the B-2. We have one squadron at Whiteman Air Force Base, one base. And so as the squadron commander, I definitely feel that, that pride, but also that pressure to be ready whenever the call comes.
All right, more coming up. We've got to look at sports, weather, and more local stories. You're watching News 25.
watching News 25. Local coverage you can count on.
And welcome back to News 25 on this Monday. It's St. Patrick's Day. Hope you are celebrating safely. And I'm Chris Palermo. Now, coming up in sports, well, the Vegas Golden Knights, they were shut out in Detroit. Mikey has that and more.
Time now for your News 25 look at sports and streaming at KPVM.TV and now on Roku devices. Vegas Golden Knights had a rough weekend. On Saturday, they lost to the Buffalo Sabres in overtime, 4-3. On Sunday, they lost to the Detroit Red Wings, 3-0. Up next for them, they host Boston on Thursday. Time for the Ovechkin check-in. Capitals in San Jose on Saturday against the Sharks. Third period.
Ovechkin towards the goal on a skip there. Romanov able to fight that off. Ovechkin on the intercept with Dubois. Back to the point. Faravari. Deflection try. Ovechkin. He scores! A tip in for the Great Eights.
Ovechkin with the deflection. Now just 8 goals away. Counting down the Great Eights' top 10 goals. Here is number 8.
Crosby got it back. It's thrown toward the front. And now coming up with it is Backstrom moving out with Ovechkin in a 2-on-1. Backstrom moving on. Across to Ovechkin. He scores! With 1:07 to go.
What a shift for both teams. Hard defense. The initial part of it, Doc, might go off the post, and then Ovechkin bats it out of the air. There's the post, there's the puck, there's the net.
The greatest goal scorer in the modern era.
The Lady Rebels' March Madness streak has been snapped. The UNLV women's basketball team just missed the cut for the NCAA tournament appearance. Instead, the university announced they accepted the bid to the Women's Basketball Invitation Tournament, or WBIT, as a number 2 seed. The field has been unveiled for the first ever college basketball crown tournament in Las Vegas. 16 men's college basketball teams will face off in the tournament. Arizona State, Boise State, Butler, Cincinnati, Colorado, DePaul, Georgetown, George Washington, Nebraska, Oregon State, Tuluna, UFC, USC, Utah, Villanova, Washington State. The first round of games will be played Monday and Tuesday, March 31st and April 1st at MGM Grand Garden Arena. And that's your look at sports on News 25.
Looking good, Mikey. Thank you very much. Over the weekend, NASCAR made its 5th stop on the schedule in Las Vegas. Here is a look at what this past weekend had in store.
Over the weekend, NASCAR thundered its way back into Las Vegas. Corey Day led the field to the green flag for the first of 3 races for Friday night's Craftsman Truck Series race. Ty Majeski would win Stage 1 under caution, and the race would be halted temporarily due to a brief rain shower. Stage 2 would see a very similar fate, as Tyler Ankrum would win the stage, and then yet another rain shower would stop the race again. Once the trucks finally got rolling again for the final stage, Corey Heim would set sail to win the race, picking up his 2nd win of the season after winning the season opener at Daytona. Grant Enfinger would finish 2nd, followed by Tanner Gray, Ty Majeski, and Lane Riggs would round out the top 5. On Saturday, Sammy Smith took the green flag for the Xfinity Series race. Outside of a lap 1 caution, the race went pretty clean to the finish, with Justin Allgaier winning Stage 1 and last week's winner Eric Almirola winning Stage 2. Bouncing back from heartbreak last weekend after a dominant performance but losing in Phoenix, Justin Allgaier was able to hold off Eric Almirola to pick up his first win of the season. With Allgaier winning over Almirola, Jesse Love would finish 3rd, Austin Hill in 4th, and Sam Mayer would round up the top 5. For Sunday's Pennzoil 400, Michael McDowell would make a little history, bringing Spire Motorsports the organization's very first pole award and leading the field to green. After a yellow flag pit stop shuffle, Austin Cindric would go on to capture the Stage 1 win. During Stage 2, problems for Shane Van Gisbergen and Kyle Busch would shuffle the field around some more, then a late stage caution would set up Kyle Larson to capture the Stage 2 victory. The action wouldn't stop in Stage 3 as a crash in the opening laps would damage several vehicles and take out Ryan Blaney. A brief yellow flag frenzy toward the end of the race would set up a 20-lap run to the finish. After a fierce battle for the lead with Daniel Suarez, Josh Berry would survive the late race chaos to earn his first career Cup Series win and the 101st win for the famous Wood brothers. Ryan Preece would come home in the third position, followed by William Byron and Ross Chastain. Josh Berry's win in Las Vegas would also end a 3-race win streak for Christopher Bell, who would come home in the 12th position.
All right, it was an exciting weekend for race fans. More stories coming up. You're watching News 25.
You're watching News 25. Local coverage you can count on. News 25 is brought to you by Mountain West Lawyer, Injury Attorneys, 727-9500.
Welcome back to News 25. I'm Chris Palermo. If you have lived in Pahrump for a while, you know that every year Positive Pahrump hosts their annual toy drive during Christmas every year. News 25 spoke with the president in charge of it all, Stephanie Avina, who has recently started a nonprofit called Something Positive, Inc.
Positive Pahrump is just a Facebook page that I started in 2009. Ironically, I started it because I went to a town board meeting, and during that meeting, somebody said they spoke for the community. And I started that page in regards to like talking about topics, getting things out, and seeing the different opinions of all of our residents, not just the ones that attend the town board meetings. So Positive Pahrump was always just a Facebook page. It was just a way to have conversation with our residents. It was to do things for our community. I was able to collab with other organizations and do, minimal things throughout the year with not having a nonprofit. During the last few years, I wanted to branch out and do more. And so with that said, I needed to get my own nonprofit so I could do those things, and I'm not, hanging on the coattails of other organizations that maybe weren't as interested as I was in those events.
Most of Pahrump already knows about the toy drive, but do you want people to know why you guys decide to do the toy drive every year?
Again, this started back almost 15 years ago, and it had to do with my son went into school. And he let me know that there was a student in his class that was not going to have Christmas, and that he appeared poor to him. He had no shoes that were good or not holy. So I opted at the time to do angel trees throughout the school, and then just grew and grew into the toy drive.
Is there anything else that you actually want to say to be in this interview to talk about?
I mean, I guess about Something Positive, Inc. How excited we are to be a nonprofit, that we could do more for our community. And that's what we're looking forward to, and having a positive group of people giving back to our community throughout the year and not just at school supply drives or Christmas.
How can they contact you if they do want to get involved in Something Positive, Inc.?
So they could contact my cell phone number at 702-465-4391, or they could go on to social media on Positive Pahrump or Something Positive Inc. Facebook pages and just send a message. I do want to add, if they could, follow the page for sure. We're just starting Something Positive Inc., and we're just over about 450 likes and followers, and we're trying to spread the word and get that page out. So if they could go on Facebook and like and follow that page.
News 25 Weather Cam is brought to you by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorney's Office in Pahrump. In a wreck, need a check? Call 702-877-1500.
And that's the Lerner and Rowe Weather Cam. Ian Deutsch parked here in Pahrump. And the horse, well, he said, I'm just going to lie down and sleep it off until spring really does come. And that's looking at Mount Charleston, Lee Canyon over there. They've had more than 50 inches of snow this month. Complete forecast up in a bit.
Good Good evening, Nevada. My name is Roy Rossell, coming to you from the Channel 25 Weather Studios. And happy St. Patrick's Day. I would be wearing green, but then the green screen wouldn't work. Let's take a look at Nevada. Up in northern Nevada, Fernley and Fallon are both sitting at 47 degrees. Carson City at 42, Tonopah at 55. Goldfield is also at 55 degrees. Beatty's sitting at 68. Amargosa is sitting at 74. Las Vegas at 73. And Death Valley's all the way in the 80s at 85 degrees. But here in the beautiful Paradise Pahrump, it was pretty cloudy today, though there was still some sun, and it was quite windy. It's currently 67 degrees. The high today was 70 degrees. Wind blowing south-southwest at 29 miles per hour. Humidity 31%. And the sun rose this morning at 6:51 and sets tonight actually at 6:51 p.m. The humidity raises all the way up to 49%, and the wind continues to blow south-southeast at 23 miles per hour. The low tonight is going to be 40 degrees. Let's take a look at our 7-day forecast. We are seeing all sun throughout our next 7 days, though tomorrow is going to be pretty windy at 62 degrees. Wednesday is going to be sunny at 64. Thursday all the way up to 69. Friday we go into the 70s at 72. Saturday and Sunday are going to be really nice this weekend at 75 and 79 degrees. And then on Monday we're going all the way back up into the 80s at 84 degrees. Looks like we're not going to be needing our jackets for much longer, especially since spring is right around the corner on Thursday. Let's go back to the desk. Here's Chris.
Thank you, Miss Roselle. Well, we're right on schedule here in 80s, and the little birdie told me maybe 90s next week. It'll be kind of tough for the skiers to keep their fresh powder up in the mountains. That'll just about do it for all of us here tonight. Make it a great night. I'm Chris Palermo.